In 1977, a man hiding in the jungle sent a message to the United States government. It was short, direct, and impossible to ignore.
Pay me $100 million or I will poison your country.
This was not a metaphor. It was not a bluff. At his peak, this man controlled nearly 40% of all heroin entering the United States. 1 in 4 American overdoses traced directly back to his supply. Hospitals filled. Emergency rooms overflowed. Cities from New York to Los Angeles absorbed the cost in bodies. And yet, after decades of manhunts, indictments, military raids, sanctions, and diplomatic pressure, this man was never arrested by the United States. He never stood in an American courtroom, never saw the inside of a U.S. prison. He died quietly in 2007, in a guarded villa, surrounded by family, with his fortune intact. His name was Khun Sa, and this is how one man outsmarted the most powerful country on earth. To understand how this happened, you have to start in a place where law has never mattered. The Golden Triangle, a region where Burma, Laos, and Thailand collide in a maze of jungle-covered mountains. For decades, this territory existed beyond meaningful government control. There were no courts, no police, only power, and power belonged to whoever could hold ground with guns. In 1950, the balance of power shifted. After Mao Zedong's communist forces seized control of China, the defeated Chinese Nationalist Army fled south. More than 12,000 soldiers crossed into the highlands of the Golden Triangle. They were stranded, stateless, desperate, and they were quietly funded by the CIA. Washington saw opportunity. These soldiers could serve as a proxy force, a pressure point against communist China, a guerrilla army operating beyond official accountability. Weapons flowed in. Training camps appeared in the jungle. Money changed hands. And watching from the edges of those camps was a teenage boy named Jiang Qifu. Jiang Qifu was half Shan, half Chinese. He did not fight. He observed. He watched soldiers learn to move silently through jungle terrain. He memorized ambush tactics. He studied how supply lines were protected and exploited. He learned how violence became leverage, and how leverage became power. The CIA never noticed him, but every lesson their proxies learned, he absorbed. They were training their future adversary without realizing it. By his early 20s, Jiang Qifu commanded his own militia. Small, poor, hungry. They survived by extorting opium farmers in remote Shan villages. Villages with no police, no protection, no government presence. But Jiang Qifu was different from other warlords. He didn't think in raids. He didn't think in territory. He thought in systems. He didn't want to steal opium. He wanted to control it. The poppy fields, the refineries, the smuggling routes, the foreign distributors. Control the chain and you control the market. In 1963, he made the deal that defined his future. The Burmese military needed help fighting communist insurgents near the Chinese border. Jiang Qifu volunteered his militia. In return, the government gave him something priceless: immunity. He could traffic opium freely, with official protection. In one signature, the Burmese state legalized his criminal enterprise. Within 2 years, his militia had better weapons than the army itself. Black market rifles, machine guns, mortars. His fighters trained with the discipline he had studied years earlier. Locals whispered his name with fear. But regional dominance wasn't enough. Jiang Qifu wanted the entire Golden Triangle. In the spring of 1967, he made his move. 500 armed men marched through mountain passes. 300 mules followed behind them. Each mule carried raw opium worth a fortune on international markets. 16 tons in total. The caravan stretched for nearly half a mile. and it moved straight into territory controlled by the same forces who had once trained him. This wasn't competition. It was a declaration of war. The convoy moved slowly through jungle trails, avoiding detection. Then the jungle erupted. Gunfire from 3 directions. Ambushes perfectly placed. Mules collapsed under the weight of bullets. Men screamed and fell. Then the Laotian Air Force arrived. Bombs tore through the canopy. Fire and shrapnel turned the jungle floor into a killing field. When the smoke cleared, everything was gone. The opium, the men, the illusion of invincibility. Jiang Qifu escaped with his life. Barely. His enemies celebrated. The Chinese nationalists believed the threat was finished. The Burmese government decided he had become too dangerous. In 1969, Jiang Qifu stepped off a plane for what he believed was a routine trip. Security forces swarmed him. The charge was treason. At 35 years old, he was sent to Mandalay prison. His empire collapsed overnight. Or so it appeared. Mandalay prison was designed to break men. Concrete walls. Isolation. Silence. Most prisoners didn't survive it intact. Jiang Qifu did more than survive. He evolved. For 5 years, he read obsessively. Especially Sun Tzu's The Art of War. He reached one conclusion that would define the rest of his life. There are no permanent allies. Only temporary alignments of interest. Loyalty is expendable. Emotion is weakness. Every relationship is a transaction waiting to be exploited. He entered prison as a warlord who made emotional decisions. He planned to leave as something far more dangerous. A strategist. Outside the prison walls, his followers waited. In 1973, they executed one of the most audacious operations in Burmese criminal history. They kidnapped 2 Soviet doctors working in rural Burma. The ransom was not money. It was Jiang Qifu's release. The Burmese government faced an impossible choice. Release a convicted traitor, or risk a diplomatic crisis with the Soviet Union at the height of the Cold War. In 1974, Jiang Qifu walked free. He disappeared across the Thai border and began again. He took a new name, Khun Sa. It meant Prince Prosperous. He reinvented himself as a Shan freedom fighter, a revolutionary battling Burmese oppression. It was propaganda, and it worked. The Shan people saw the schools he built, the clinics, the roads. They didn't see the heroin laboratories hidden in the jungle. Khun Sa had discovered a powerful truth. Wrap crime in a flag, and people will protect you. By 1977, he commanded a rebuilt army and operated openly from Thailand. Thai generals looked the other way. He was useful. Then he contacted the United States. Khun Sa's offer was simple. $100 million. Development funding for the Shan people. In exchange, he would retire from the drug trade. What he was really saying was this: I control the heroin supply. I can remove it, or flood your country with it. Washington refused. Khun Sa expected that. In the 1980s, he escalated. He industrialized heroin production. Dozens of laboratories operated non-stop. Purity reached 90%. By the end of the decade, the Golden Triangle supplied most of America's heroin. Khun Sa controlled nearly half of it. For out of 10 overdoses traced back to his operation, he gave press conferences, mocked the DEA. Military raids failed. Indictments failed. Every attack made him stronger. By the 1990s, pressure mounted. Rival militias advanced. The DEA dismantled his network. His health declined. Analysts predicted a violent end. Instead, he chose something else. In 1996, Khun Sa surrendered. Not to the United States. To the Burmese government. He disbanded his army. Exited the drug trade. In return, he received immunity. No extradition. full protection, his fortune intact. The United States protested. Burma refused. There was no treaty, no leverage. Khun Sa lived quietly in Yangon. He invested in real estate, transportation, mining. When interviewed, he called himself a businessman. He died in 2007. Free. Khun Sa did not defeat the United States with weapons. He defeated it with jurisdiction. He found the one place American power could not follow, and stayed there. That is how one man outsmarted a superpower.